Hi, and welcome back to the Heart and Health Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Welch, and today we are going to talk all about how you can take care of your biopsychosocial spiritual wellness by doing daily reflection time. So before we dive in, let's take a quick look at what we did the last 2 weeks to get you all caught up. Now, if you have not listened to those episodes yet, I would recommend that you go back and listen to them because they lay a nice foundation for what we're doing today. But if not, I will try to summarize it for you very briefly. So in week 1, we talked about what biopsychosocial spiritual health and wellness is, broke it down into those 4 domains to really look at the physical health, mental health, social, and spiritual health of a person and how all 4 need to be working together in order to really achieve whole person wellness. We also talked about how you can spend some time every month thinking about what your goals are and making sure that you're working toward those goals and evaluating your BPSS health and wellness. Then last week, we took some time to really think about how to spend time each week doing that process and really making sure that you are taking that time to slow down and do that reflection in order to make sure that you're on track with your goals. So today we're going to do something similar where we're still emphasizing that reflective process, but we're going to look at what that takes or what that entails to do it on a daily basis. And I have a template that I will provide to you for free that you can get by going to that link down in the show notes, where you can have kind of like a hard copy version to do this process on your own, or I'll provide a couple of reflection questions for each of those domains that you can think through every single day. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Before we even get started on that, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of language and how you speak to yourself. So it is really important to remember with anything that I talk about on this podcast or in my clinic or anywhere, I'm a big advocate for thinking about the language that we're using, not only when we're speaking with others, but especially when we're speaking to ourselves, so that it's non-judgmental, it's compassionate, it's patient and loving and kind, because that is so foundational to how you think about yourself and how you'll be able to prepare yourself for, achieving the goals that you set out to work toward in the first place. So language is really, really important. So anytime I'm talking about something on this podcast, it is a mere suggestion of what I have seen work well for me, either personally and or for clients that I've worked with in a clinical capacity. This does not mean that it's going to be a one-size-fits-all situation, and what works for some may not work for you, and that is totally okay. You are the expert in your life. You know yourself, your situation, your circumstances better than I would ever be able to understand it. So take what I am suggesting or offering it and figure out how to tailor it to your life so that it's going to work best for you and your situation. That being said, when you talk to yourself about what you're taking from this podcast and trying to apply it to your life, I want you to make sure that you aren't using language like, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that, or I failed because I didn't do it that way. Rather, I want you to think about how you could be applying this to your life, or how you can incorporate some of these things. And it's a subtle difference between should and but it's a big difference in how you think about yourself and how you're judging or not judging yourself. So I want to break that down a little bit. When we use language like I could do something, we're using language that presents a possibility, an opportunity. It gives you a sense of empowerment, and it really emphasizes that choice that you have to be making a decision to include that in your daily routine, weekly routine, monthly routine, whatever, however you want to apply it. It is something that you get to do or want to do because you see that it is going to work and be beneficial for you. However, if you are using language like I should be doing this, that suggests that maybe there's a sense of obligation, There's a sense of pressure to be doing it a certain way. And ultimately, if you don't do it that way, you might take on a sense of guilt or even shame and think that, you're not a great person because you didn't do it the quote unquote right way. So I really want you to be thinking about the language that you are using yourself when you're trying to apply change in your life and doing things that are going to be for a better version of you. I hope that makes sense. So really think about having that self-compassion and motivating yourself, much like you would talk to somebody who you care about and love and want to encourage. I want you to talk to yourself in that same way. Okay, so everything that's being discussed here is an opportunity for you to apply it to your life if you want to and if it makes sense, not because you should. There's not a right or a wrong way. It's how you want to incorporate it into your life and into your routine. Okay, so we've talked about what to do monthly. We've talked about what you can do weekly. And today we're going to talk about how you can do self-reflective practice on a daily basis. So I'm first going to present 2 short questions that you can ask yourself for each of the domains, biopsychosocial, and spiritual, and ask yourself these questions just very quickly. You could do this while you're brushing your teeth in the morning, driving to work, whatever. Keep it short and simple. These are just 2 reflective questions each that you can ask yourself. Then we'll go into how you could use that template that's more detailed. So first of all, for the biological, and this has to do with your body and how you're feeling in your body. The first question is, how am I feeling physically today? So do that body scan, head to toe. Where's the tension? Where's the tightness? Where's the ache or the pain? How am I feeling physically today? Second question, what does my body need? So if you're someone who's maybe like, I don't know, not taking care of your body over the weekend, you come around Monday and you're like, I want to take care of my body today. What does that look like? Is that going for a walk? Is it providing it with nutrients or more water today? Whatever that might be, what does my body need? 2 questions for the biological domain. The second domain is psychological, and this is your mind, your emotional well-being, your mental health, all of that. Okay, so 2 questions for that. What is my dominant thought or emotion right now? What's kind of consuming my mind? And 2, how can I support my mental health today? Again, thinking about what is it that my mental health needs? Is it some quiet time by myself? Is it going for a walk? Those things can tie in both with the physical and the mental, but what is it that my mental health needs today? Okay, the third domain is social. This is your relationships, the interactions with others. The question for that is, who have I connected with today? Or if you're doing this in the morning, it's okay if you haven't connected with them yet, but thinking about like, who do I want to connect with today? And then 2, who do I need to check in on or lean on today? And I think it's nice that it points out that, maybe checking on somebody else or offering care and service to somebody else could be really good for you. Or maybe you don't have the energy or the capacity for that and you need to lean on somebody today. So who am I connecting with today? And who do I need to check in on or lean on today? The fourth domain is the spiritual domain, and that's our purpose and meaning in life. So 2 questions for that. 1, have I nurtured my faith or sense of purpose today? Again, if you're doing this in the morning and you haven't done it yet, then what do I need to do for that to nurture my faith or sense of purpose today? And 2, what's one small thing that I can do to feel more aligned with my values? What is there that I need to be working on or focusing on in order to feel like I'm really living out my values? Okay, so that's a basic way to do it. If you just want to do a quick, simple, nothing really fancy, just thinking through each of those questions for each of those domains. Again, I think incorporating it with something that you're already doing, like brushing your teeth, driving to work, winding down for bed, whatever it might be, incorporate it into something that you're already doing to make it seem more seamless into that routine that is already existing. You can ask yourself those questions. Now, if you want to do it a little bit more detailed and intricate or have something to write out, I'm providing you with that free daily template that you can use for that. Okay. And that's available in that link in the show notes. So again, I've broken this down into the physical, emotional, social, and spiritual components. So real quick, I'm going to go through this. It's I'm a very visual person, so it's easy for me to see it and understand it more, but I'm going to try and talk you through it. But if you want to look at it, you can download it and then come back to this part. So first of all, you're going to ask yourself Monday through Sunday, did I move my body today? Yes or no? And then for how many minutes did I move my body? 2, how much sleep did I get, or did I get quality sleep? And I want you to note maybe how many hours of sleep you got or what time you got into bed, but do some kind of specific tracking to show whether or not you got good quality sleep. Number 3, have I nourished my body? For me, it's just, did I get my servings of fruits and veggies? Yes or no? If you want to track how many servings of fruits or veggies or how much water you got, you can certainly do that. Which brings me to the next one, because this is also a goal that's important to me, is how much water did I drink, and tracking actually how many ounces did I get. Or you can ask yourself, did I meet my water goals for today? Yes or no? And then also track how many ounces of water you drink. And then 5, did I feel energized today? And rank that from low, medium, and high, and do that for each day. Okay. So 5 things. Did I move my body? How was my sleep? Did I nourish my body? Did I drink my water? And did I feel energized today? Those are the 5 things for your biological domain. For the psychological domain, I want you to identify at least 1, if not 2, dominant emotions that were coming up for you and naming those emotions. So today I noticed that I felt this emotion. Write that out. Then I want you to rank your stress level from 1 to 10. 1 being really low, everything's good. 10, it's off the charts. I'm so done and over with all of this. Then 3, want you to practice a certain number of minutes of mindfulness or meditation that is structured. So you're actually setting a timer for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it might be for you and the level that you're at, sitting some time, just being quiet, practicing refocusing your thoughts and being in tune with yourself. And then number 4, I experienced mental clarity today. Yes or no? If you did not experience mental clarity and you noticed that you were having intrusive thoughts, I want you to identify what was that intrusive thought, and then follow that up with identifying what is the truth that I know about that intrusive thought, and then what is the evidence for that. So for example, I'm a toddler mom. I often have intrusive thoughts about, we'll just go with something wild, crazy, like suddenly the bridge collapses underneath me and I'm in the car with my child and have to figure out how to get out. I know it's really horrific, but that's where my brain goes sometimes. And I chalk it up to just being, mom worry. But anyways, that's the intrusive thought. So what do I need to do to follow up with that? I'll say, well, I know the truth is that I'm safe in my vehicle. This is a safe, sturdy bridge and we're okay. The evidence for that, I do this drive every single day. I know that it's built well. If it wasn't safe, they would shut it down, kind of thing. That's a silly example, but when you have intrusive thoughts, the best way to shut them down is to say what you actually know to be true and then provide yourself with some evidence for that. Shut it down. Also, writing it out takes away some of the power of the intrusive. It takes it out of the imaginative setting and makes it more realistic and practical and tangible. Okay. So those are the things for psychological. The emotions you felt, ranking your stress level, practicing some mindfulness and some meditation, and then going through that little exercise for experiencing mental clarity. Moving on to the social domain of your health and wellness. Okay. This is all about making connections, having your relationships as a priority, and making sure that you're engaging with others and communicating with others on a regular basis. So for me, I set a goal to make a call to a loved one, friend, family member, whatever, at least 3 times a week. So instead of that being a Monday through Sunday, having to check it off every day, more like I have those boxes across the paper and I want to check 3 times at least that I've connected with someone via phone call. Then also grabbing a coffee or a tea or getting together with someone for lunch. So not just talking on the phone, but actually connecting in person with somebody. Also a 2 to 3 times a week kind of thing that I want to do. Then if there's some kind of other category that you want to do socially, whether that's, attending a Sunday school group or a small group or something like that, that's important to you, or what's the game that people play? The pickleball. If you're like on a pickleball club or a bowling league or something like that, fill that in. Did I go to that this week? Check it off. And that, again, doesn't have to be an everyday thing, but you want to be thinking about it every day. Is there something that I need to be doing there? And then the last one is just, did I connect with someone at least every single day, even if it's small, even if it's through social media? Not my favorite thing, but it's still something. Did I connect with someone every single day this week, or did I isolate myself? So that one is a Monday through Sunday. Check it off. I connected with at least one person today. So 4 main things for the social category: making a call, set the number of times a week. For me, it's 3. Grabbing a coffee, tea, or lunch with a friend. 3 would be doing something other like a small group or social activity at least once a week, and then connecting with someone every single day, even if it's a small thing through work or whatever. Keep it simple. Those are the 4 things for social. Now for spiritual, this is going to be similar to psychological, but it's different. Remember, we're not just thinking about our mental health in terms of depression, anxiety, but we're also thinking about having that sense of purpose and belonging in our faith. Okay, so that's the spiritual component. So first, I want you to start by doing some kind of journal prompt, and you can get that by Googling a journal prompt for the day. If there's a book that you're reading, you could journal based off of that. If there's an event that you did, you could base it on that. But do some kind of journaling, even if it's a really simple, like bullet journal. Do it in your phone notes. Doesn't have to be a formal, write it down in a paper journal. Just keep it simple. Do some kind of journaling for a few minutes every single day. Then Monday through Sunday, check it, yes or no. Did I practice some self-reflection? And you can include that with part of your faith-based practice like prayer, quiet time, reading the Bible, or reading some kind of book that's helping you grow, whatever that might be. Did I spend some time doing self-reflection today? Then 3, did I practice gratitude? And I do include that as separate from the self-reflection piece because I think gratitude needs its own space. Practicing gratitude is so good for you. And I want you to include that as much as possible in your daily routine. And that, again, could just be thinking, I'm so grateful for the place that I have to live, or I'm so grateful for the beautiful weather that we had today, or I'm so grateful for my friend and the time we had at lunch today. Whatever it might be, practice some kind of gratitude. Speak it out, write it down, whatever you want it to be. Do some kind of practice with that. Then check yes or no. Monday through Sunday, I felt a sense of purpose. And if you did not feel a sense of purpose, I want you to do some examination of why that might be and how you could better align with your values. If you did feel a sense of purpose, I also want you to write down the example of when you felt that way and what it was that made you feel that sense of purpose, so that on the days when you don't feel a sense of purpose, you can go back and look at the days of when it happened, when you had success with that, so you can try to do that more often and incorporate that into your daily routine. Okay, so for spiritual component, do some kind of journaling, practice some self-reflection, whether that's with prayer, quiet time, Bible study, whatever. Practice gratitude, and then think about whether you experienced a sense of purpose or not that day. Okay, so those are the components that you need for spiritual. This template, much more complex than the other piece that I suggested right before this, where it's just a couple of questions, doing it very simply. This is going to take you quite a bit more time, maybe 10 to 20 minutes to really get in and do all of this and think through it. I think it would be better to do this at the end of the day rather than the beginning when you haven't had the opportunity to do all of it. But again, make it work for you, make it fit into your routine like you need to. Don't worry about doing it the exact way that I have it written out. It's okay to tweak it. So that is the daily template that I have set up. Okay, so once you have finished all of that, I think it's really good to have kind of 1 or 2 key takeaways from what you got from your daily reflection and how you want to implement that for the next day to continue that or do something different. Set kind of an intention for yourself to be very mindful about how you continue in the right direction or modifying it a little bit if you need to make it better for you the next day. And it's just a good practice to be part of closing out that daily self-reflection. We're going to wrap it up here. Just want to keep it nice and simple for you. Again, you need to be thinking about your biopsychosocial spiritual wellness on a regular basis, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. It needs to be happening consistently so that you can keep yourself on track. Last week, I mentioned that on March 28th, I'm going to be hosting a workshop where we review how you did in quarter one and preparing yourself for quarter two. We are going to be doing that at lunchtime at noon Central Time on March 28th. I do not have the official sign up ready to go quite yet, but I want you to save it on your calendar. I'm planning on opening 10 spots for that. This is going to be completely free to you. There's no charge for it. It's just an opportunity for you to meet with me, not one-on-one, but in a small group where we can really share with each other what you've done well, what's allowed you to be successful in this first quarter, and how you want to continue that in the next quarter to keep working towards those big, hairy, audacious goals for the year. And you'll have access to me in a way that I don't offer in any other place. So that'll be a really nice thing to do. So add it to your calendar, March 28th at noon, and just be watching for updates from me on my social. And in next week's episode, I'm sure by then we'll have an update on how to get signed up for that. But for now, just add it to your calendar and save that. It'll be a really good thing to do. I also want you to plug in next week. We're going to talk about how small incremental changes make a really big difference. More than just gratitude of being thankful for the little things, that is part of it, but just really recognizing how small steps in your life that might feel kind of insignificant or not really something to be excited about are exactly what you need in order to achieve those really big goals. So we're going to talk about that next week. Make sure you tune in for that. I want to ask two favors from you, maybe two and a half. One, if there's anything that you took away from today's episode that you thought was helpful or that you want to try to apply to your life, I would ask that you would give the show a great rating, maybe even a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to or watching, because that's going to be a really helpful thing as we're trying to get the show out to more people and increase the audience. So if you can give me a great review, I would really appreciate it. Also, if there is someone that you think would benefit from hearing this message today because you thought it was helpful and you think they could benefit from it too, please share it with them. Just send them the link, say, hey, I thought of you while I was listening to this and I think you'd really like it. And I would really appreciate that too. It helped me grow the show and grow the podcast to a larger audience. So please consider doing that. Also, I want this to be a very collaborative process and a place where I can help you achieve better biopsychosocial spiritual wellness and health. So if there is something that you want to hear more about or you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments. Or if there's something that you took away that we can dive deeper on, let me know in the comments or send me a message if you're more private. But I want it to be something that is collaborative and helpful to you. So let me know how I can make that happen. All right. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again so much for your support and for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I'm excited to see where this show takes us. But until next week, take care of yourself and be healthy. And I will see y'all soon.